So first week, long way to go. In your mind, which leader do you think has won the week based on issues, let's say, that matter to Canadians?
Well, Todd, you know what? It's a bit like a knife fight in a telephone booth. It's hard to come out of it and survive, I think, for anyone for the first week, because it was pretty clear that all of the opposition party leaders were piling on the Liberals and attacking Justin Trudeau for calling an election. Justin Trudeau, I think, effectively got through the week. But the big question is if this continues to dog Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, it'll be bad news for them and a lot of turbulence. On the positive side of the ledger, the Aaron O'Toole and the Conservatives managed to launch their platform and say that they had a plan. And he managed to dodge the bullet on the A word, abortion, in terms of declaring his position, but he's still being pursued, or at least asking questions related to the vaccinations. And Jagmeet Singh has actually had a pretty good week in terms of focusing on housing and the environment. So I'm not sure if there's a winner yet. I think we'll have to wait. This is kind of a long movie, well, like a marathon.
It is interesting, that social conservative issues, Nick, are always challenging for the Conservative Party.
Yeah, well, it's one of those standard for all of us that have been following Canadian politics for decades. It's been like the standard Liberal ploy, tactic, trap to try to trip up whoever happens to be the Conservative leader of the day on abortion. Stephen Harper never fell for the trap and basically knocked it out of the park in terms of telling Canadians that the decision has been made and that's the past, and Stephen Harper wanted to focus on the future. Andrew Scheer stumbled a bit in the last federal election, and it basically started a bit of a pattern where he was on the defensive. Aaron O'Toole has basically put this to rest, and I'm sure he wants to talk about his plan in the economy in the future. So I think we've now put this behind us on the campaign trail, and it'll be interesting. And I think what Canadians want is to hear from all of the federal party leaders about the issues that matter for the future: jobs in the economy, healthcare, the environment, all those things. And to stop what I'll say, the bickering and the pot shots of the last few days, and to focus on the future and the big issues that really touch the lives of Canadians.
Yeah, it's a great point. And the idea that not just what have you done for me, but what will you do for me, Nick?
Absolutely. And I think this is the crux of the matter. And the Nova Scotia election was a good case in point. The Progressive Conservatives in Nova Scotia won, not because they were huggable and nice and all that kind of stuff. They won because they focused on one issue: healthcare, investing in healthcare and the future of healthcare. And they were rewarded by the electorate in Nova Scotia, as opposed to the Liberals in Nova Scotia, who tried to do a little bit of a victory lap. So it's about the future, not what have you done for me lately, but what will you do in the future, and what is your vision for the future?
What about the environment as well? I mean, we've got wildfires in British Columbia, elsewhere in the country. We have heard from, the Green Party and even the Bloc Québécois on the issue of climate change, but not as much from the Liberals, NDP, or Conservatives yet.
Well, the New Democrats actually, Jagmeet Singh, in his opening response on the first day of the campaign, talked about the environmental crisis and the housing crisis at the same time. So he's been focused on that, as has Annamie Paul. What we've seen, at least in the last number of weeks, is that the environment is starting to creep up as a top national issue of concern. We also know from the research that we've done is that when we ask Canadians which issues would influence their vote in a possible federal election, the environment came second after jobs in the economy. So it's definitely on the radar, and it's definitely top of mind in terms of what Canadians want to hear about.
Tell me about affordable housing as well. We saw that incident in Halifax where the police moved in to clear out an encampment and leading to some tense moments. And obviously affordable housing is a big issue, particularly in the big cities in our country, where it's becoming more and more difficult, Nick, for people to actually buy homes.
In a recent Vote Housing survey that we did, about 15% of Canadians said that they were worried about whether they would be able to pay the rent or pay their mortgage in the next 30 days. That, Todd, adds up to about 4.9 million Canadians. And I think that's why we've seen all of the federal parties, the New Democrats, the Conservatives, and the Liberals talk about housing affordability, talk about homelessness in order to try to fight this. Because one thing in the pandemic that no one could foresee is how hot this real estate market was. And it's basically priced some millennials, for example, right out of the market because they can't get in. And there are also people that are just struggling to pay the rent. So, this issue touches people's day-to-day lives. And I think it explains why all of the federal party leaders are trying to crowd in to develop some sort of, or put forward some sort of concrete plan for affordable housing and homelessness.
So the first week it becomes kind of like do no harm, Nick. I wonder whether you think there have been any gaffes or stumbles at all in your mind.
I don't think so. It's been a bit like Survivor Island, and if it is a knife fight and a telephone booth, I think everybody took their cuts, or whatever we want to call it, took their jabs, and they probably put a few Band-Aids on, and they're still surviving. So it's still a horse race, and it's still up in the air right now in terms of what the final outcome might be.
And I guess you wonder whether people are, necessarily paying as close attention as folks like we are, Nick, because, it is August the 20th and it's still the summertime and it's hot in lots of parts of the country, and people would like to take a break from the pandemic and all the noise going on around them.
People want to take a break, but the intensity will definitely ramp up, especially when we get to the debates on September 8th and 9th. That'll be the next time that people tune in. But right now, this is more like a piece of political entertainment. They want to see if anyone makes any mistakes, any gaffes, whether the campaigns falter, because if they do, this will be a critical time because it sets the first trend line of the campaign, the trend line from the launch to the first debate. And right now, there's no clarity in terms of whether there's a big winner.